Thank you, Senator. Thank you for taking the gavel there. We're all running back and forth today. So, Senator Kelly, you're up.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. Tell, good seeing you again. Thanks for coming by my office. I want to talk about some priority infrastructure projects that we have in Arizona. First, as we discussed in my office, we talked about Winslow, the Winslow levy project. The Army Corps of Engineers is constructing this new levee system that'll remove the town of Winslow from a 100-year floodplain. This project's authorized and it's fully funded under the bipartisan infrastructure law, and they have the local match. Will you commit to ensuring that the Corps moves as quickly as possible to complete this infrastructure project?
Senator, of course, we will follow, if confirmed, I'll follow the law and work with you and your constituents to make sure we provide that facility as quickly as we possibly can.
Thank you. And then second, in last year's WRDA bill, we secured some new emergency authorities for the Army Corps to ensure that the Corps can exercise your regulatory authorities differently in regions experiencing drought. What I'm talking about are the flood control curves that we discussed. These changes have the potential to save hundreds of thousands of acre-feet of water in certain years in the West. Will you commit to working with my office to ensure that the Corps' implementation guidance reflects congressional intent so the Corps moves quickly to respond to conditions in drought-stricken regions?
Senator Kelly, thank you for the question. As I've testified today, on a number of occasions, the primary missions of the Corps of Engineers are navigation, flood control, and aquatic ecosystem restoration. Water supply can be a secondary mission of the Corps, but I think I would point out the provision that you worked to include in a recent WRDA bill that said in times of drought emergency, there can be an exception made to that policy. I think it makes sense, especially for communities in areas like your state that at times can be so desperate for water. And so I look forward to working with you to make sure that we follow the law and get that provision implemented, the guidance and the rulemakings and other processes that are required to bring that to bear. I look forward to working with you to make sure we get it right.
Thank you. And then finally, we also talked about Rio de Flag, which is another flooding issue in Flagstaff, Arizona. And so we've got this project. It's downtown Flagstaff. It's been funded. Phase 1 of the project should be ready for construction next year, but we may run into a issue with the 902 limit. If a post-authorization change report is required for this project, will you commit to working with the City of Flagstaff to find a way to continue advancing Phase 1 of the project without delay?
Senator, thank you for the question, and I look forward to learning more about the change that you describe, and certainly across the board, as has been discussed on numerous occasions here today, and the senator right before you made the point that time is money, and I'm sure that's the case in this project too. So I look forward to working with you, and I commit to doing everything we can to get it right, even with changes.
And if a Packer is required, will you commit to ensuring that the report is completed as quickly as possible so that it's provided to Congress in time for WRDA 2026?
Senator, thank you for that question as well. And this is another topic that I think I've heard on a bipartisan basis is of interest, which is even if whether we like the answer you're going to give us or not, give us an answer. And I believe in that. And so I look forward to trying to be transparent and clear with you about the progress of the projects of interest to you, and so that even if the answer is not something that you would have preferred, you can potentially work to mitigate the concerns that may exist.
Well, thank you, Mr. Tell. And then, Mr. McMaster, thanks for coming by my office as well. When we met, we discussed this 22nd Street Bridge project in Tucson. It's a classic example of the type of project which Congress, on a bipartisan basis, intended to fund when we passed the bipartisan infrastructure law. This project replaces this aging bridge over Union Pacific's main rail line that goes east to west through Tucson. And right now, the bridge is in such poor shape that, as we talked about, school buses, ambulances don't go over it. The city of Tucson has submitted a draft grant agreement to the Federal Highways Administration for their review, which included all of the NEPA documents and utility and right-of-way clearances, yet the city has not yet received any feedback on this submitted documentation since December, and they have not been able to meet with anybody, and I know you're not in the building yet, but anybody with the staff. But if confirmed, will you commit to prioritizing completing finalized grant agreements that have been caught up in this haphazardly implemented funding freeze, like the 22nd Street Bridge?
Yes, Senator, I appreciated the conversation in your office. I will commit to you that I look forward to supporting the Secretary in his efforts to move these projects from award to agreement as quickly and expeditiously as possible. Lives and money are impacted with any possible delay. As it relates to this specific project, I look forward to following up with the Federal Highway Administration on the current status of that effort, and then I will follow up with you directly afterwards.
And will you also commit that your office will follow the law and implement any other discretionary grant programs as Congress intended?
I commit to following the law with the intent of Congress.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Senator Sullivan.
Thank you, Madam Chair.